back at the Emirates Club, Ian.
Yep.
Some great games this week. What do you think?
Well, a lot of goals, a lot of good action. It's getting tight at the top of the league. It's even getting tight at the bottom. So,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to analysing these games. In a few weeks, Ian. I mean, last week we saw Al Jazeera 6-0 against Calvary. We've always highly rated Calvary because they're well organised, got a good defence, but that was a shock.
it's the Ali Maktoum factor, isn't it? Now he's on fire. He's scoring hat-trick after hat-trick. He's top of the goal scoring.
He's unplayable at the moment. He really is, and I think that's why Al Jazeera are where they are. And then we've got bottom of the table, Ian, and top of the table. Even the mid-table's interesting. Al Wassel and Al Dafra, Al Waqta. It's been a really interesting season, and it looks like it's getting better and better. I don't know what you think about it.
I agree. 9 games to go. It's going to be very, very tight at both ends. It's going to be interesting.
I'm looking forward to our show this week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
looking
it'll be
forward
a good
to it.
one.
Lots of goals.
And I think you
great.
guys are going to be very interested. Okay, and let's look at our first game. Al Dafra versus Sharjah. Interesting game, Ian. What happened?
Well, it's a huge game for both teams for completely different reasons. Sharjah are still in the lead. Al Jazeera are hot on their tails, pushing them all the way. Sharjah, I think, the same on points, but it's only the head-to-head that keeps them different. Al Dafra, again, very consistent. Defensively, they're struggling. They're just dropping down the league just a little bit. They need to be careful.
We're going into dangerous ground here, and I don't know about you. Ian and I were talking about it earlier. That I mean, Al Dafra loaned out João Pedro to Banyas, who has been the linchpin for Banyas. He has got them where they are now, and they're looking fantastic. What's happening about it?
Just such a strange decision. We mentioned before that last year João Pedro had a reasonable season. We certainly would be looking to get rid of him, and to loan him out to Banyas, and it just anything in the box. João Pedro's on the end of it. He scores goals.
Vital goals as well.
Yeah, they've got to be reckoned.
Any Al Dafra fans, we'd love to hear your opinion. What you think about that?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ian,
Right,
digressing.
let's get on to this game as quick as we can. So let's go. So this is the build up to the first goal. Sharjah in red.
They look good. Al Dafra look good to me.
Yeah, set up reasonably well. They're quite compact. There's plenty of players behind the ball, and then as the ball gets played out wide, they just switch off. I think this is Coronado here. He's the man we want to be focusing on, and obviously Wellington over here. So here we go. It just drifts. Again, here we're not too bad. The main problem is here. We've got Coronado in between two players here. We've got the Al Dafra defender here. He's not doing anything at all. The problem here, he's got to shift in, man marking. He can sit in here. So then he's covering this player. He's covering that player. It doesn't happen. So Coronado ends up completely free. There we go.
That's crazy.
Completely free header. And the problem is this defender here is trying to cover both bases, trying to cover here and here. If he'd have gone in there, he'd have come around in here. That may have stopped that. And then if we look at Wellington here, who eventually scores the
So
goal,
it's been marked.
we've got 1, 2, 3 Al Dafra players there. Wellington's quicker, he's more alert. In he comes, reacts, and a great finish.
Disappointed in defending. This is where Al Dafra's problems have been. They're defending this season.
It has that, and it's poor. And like we said at the start, we looked at them set up there, and they set up absolutely fine, look good. And as soon as that ball goes in, they just switch off, and that's it. So they need to concentrate. I don't know whether it's a concentration thing, because they're drilled, they're in the right positions, and then
At that vital moment to switch off. And I mean, they have got some good defenders. They signed Masoud Suleiman Al Hamadi from Al Nassr, big signing, top defender, international player. So they have got the quality there. But maybe Ian's brought out a good point. Let us know what you think. Switching off at that vital moment. All right, Ian.
okay, so we move forward now. So again, we're going Al Dafra attacking now. Sharjah set up very well. 2 men here to try and stop the first ball. They've got a good line, good bank of defenders in there.
Sharjah are a good team, defensive team.
And then as we roll it in, okay, a bit of a clash, bit of a coming together, and no one really seems to be going what's on. Good old VAR's back in the action. If we look here, ball bounces up, hits the defender's arm, and penalty given, believe or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, he gave the penalty, and it's a checker run up and a great finish. Very harsh, I think, given the defender. The defender can't do anything about it. The ball's coming at speed, it's come through a group of players, it's pushing and shoving. Is his hand and arm in an unnatural position? It's very difficult. You're not
Ian,
standing with your hands behind your back.
when you look at the games, I don't know about you, I thought referees should be given a little bit of room to make a decision. We're going to see there's 2 or 3 like that this week where the defender doesn't even know. It's just almost, he's no idea what, it's just arms there, it hits him, and the referees are giving penalties.
I think
like sweeties.
Like playing or refereeing, a lot of it's by instinct, and you sort of instinctively know that's a penalty or it's not.
Yeah.
And the problem with VAR now is taking that little bit out of it, taking that decision making out of the referees, and they'll say,
well, it's his hand penalty.
We won't, or we won't make a decision. We'll go to the screen and do that, and it's taking responsibility away from me. But there we are.
Some poor decisions.
So that's all the action in the first half. 2 goals in the first half. Again, if we look here, that lovely little turn, and the ball gets played through. Wellington wasn't quite his day. He had a couple of chances. He has a real opportunity right at the end, as we have a look at. Again, Al Dafra, good opportunity. He's got to get a target from there, and he knows that. And that's costly. We're moving now into sort of 65th minute. Great ball out wide. Again, Al Dafra set up reasonably well. Great knock ball in. Wellington. You know,
he didn't have his shooting boots on.
He didn't. You know, he's the man of the moment. And again, brilliant save. It's gone in. Wellington again is in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's in there. Ball's been played into him. It's hit his chest, hit his arm, as we can see here, and gone in. Just
things like that. VAR is useful.
Exactly.
For decisions like that. Here. But these penalty decisions, I don't know about you. I mean, if it touches any player's arm in the box, it's just penalty. Yeah. Even if it's point blank, which come on, referees, we'd like you to kind of think a little bit.
So even though he scored the goal at the start, Wellington on another day probably would have had 2 or 3, and probably 3-1 would have been a fair result. In terms of possession-wise, it was all Sharjah. I think it was about 70-30 in Sharjah's favour. 500 odd passes compared to 220. I think 14 shots down to 8. So it was all Sharjah, but the problem is they've not scored the goals. And with Al Jazeera on the heels, they can't afford to be slipping up.
They should have won. All right, thanks for that, Ian. All right, let's move on to our next game. Al Wassel versus Calder. What a fantastic game. I mean, Ian, guys, if you haven't watched this game, you are in for a treat. This game had it all. It was a game of 2 halves, to use a classic cliche. I mean, think about it. 3 of the last 3 goals were scored in extra time. I mean, I've never experienced that in my life as a football supporter. And we're talking, this game had everything. A fantastic game. How Calder got a draw and didn't walk away with a win in here, I don't know. And Al Wassel, I was talking to a good friend of mine, he works in Al Wassel, he says they have this mentality, the team, a bit like the old Manchester United, never give up. You know, go to the last second of the game and always think that you can get something out of it. And I think that's what got Al Wassel through. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, possession, they had most of the possession, but Calder the first half were absolutely fantastic. Second half, Al Wassel were the game of the 2 halves here. But some of the goals, I mean, I don't like saying it, Al Wassel were lucky. I don't like saying that, guys, any Al Wassel fans, but you got a couple of shaky, as I say, VAR decisions that that was in your favour, that got you in the game and got you this 4-4 draw. Think about it, Calder were 3-0 up to the 46th minute, and that's when it all turned. But I'll stop talking, let's watch here. So let's look at the first goal here, and I've got my notes here. I mean, I could have wrote, this was the Fabio Lima, the UAE national. It was his show today. But let's have a look at the first goal. Poor defending here. I mean, he went past the defender far too easy. If we can pause it there, Ian, you're a goalkeeper, you've done goalkeeping here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know as a goalkeeper, any goalkeeper is trained, when the ball comes, if you're going to palm it away, palm it to safety. And if you see the first goal, we can carry on playing there, Ian. The goalkeeper, I mean, he not only palms it away, but he palms it directly to the player. Let's have a look. So there's a bit of poor defending. It's not the best of shot. Maybe it did bounce a little bit awkwardly. What do you think, Ian?
I think let's just pause that there very quickly. Like you said there, the defending there was appalling. You know,
he went past him like he was.
But he knows his right foot. He's going to cut inside onto his right foot to play the ball.
Very good.
So he's got to get in tighter to the middle of the pitch, playing round the outside and making play with left foot. So he didn't do that to start with. Like I said, the shot was tamish. It's bouncing on the keeper. To be honest, it's bounced at a nice height for him. You know, when he's gone down, it's probably bounced just below about knee height. Personally, I think he should be catching that. And then with obviously the players up there, we can look for a counter. He didn't. Okay, his decision. And then, like I said, he's going to push that out wide as he possibly can. I had to push it back into the play. It's not good enough.
I've talked to goalkeepers. I went to school with David Seaman and we used to talk, and he used to tell me you're palming away from the play. Anyway, let's move on to our next goal. It was a lucky deflection. So the first goal there was poor defending. Here we can see he shoots, and if you have a look, it comes off Impala. On Lapa, sorry. I keep calling him Impala. Sorry, Impala, it's on Lapa. If you have a look, Masoud Mohammed Rashid shoots the ball. It's not the best shot, but it comes off Lapa and goes in. So a lucky goal. But then David Mariani comes in. Beautiful ball again, poor defending. I don't know about you, Ian. Tell me about that. I mean, if we have a look here, David Mariani, second assist, crosses the ball.
Clips a beautiful ball across, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And again, the defender just gets caught underneath the ball. Instead of being
ball watching here, is it a bit?
Again, I think so. Poor positioning. Just keep watching the ball, not being aware where his player is. His body shape. He's looking where the ball is. He doesn't know what's behind him. He's got to open his body out. He's got to be looking here so he can see where the ball's coming from.
Yeah.
And a little glance, he can see where the defender is, and that opens himself out to play the ball out there. He's not doing it.
And this is a new signing for Calvert. They brought him in to score some goals. And we were saying, Ian, you brought up a good point. They look a little bit jaded.
Yeah.
Because they're not a big squad, Calvert.
No.
They brought in this Brazilian, Romulo.
Maybe they listen to us. Maybe they listen to us.
Inshallah, I hope they listen. But if you have a look, he scores a lovely goal. Chests it down. Powell got it through again. Goalkeeper.
I think still should have done a bit better.
But if you just pause it there, Ian. 46 minutes. Alright, Calvert are 3-0 up. To me, game, set and match. You can just see it out, this should. But then, I don't know what happened here. Lima steps in. I mean, he wins the ball, okay, but they've got good defence. There's no players really there supporting him. You've got Figueiredo there, but he's got two players on him. You've got David Mariani coming in to support. To me, there's nothing. But again, I think it's a goalkeeping. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm looking to you.
Just looking at this here, there's a couple of things to think about. This defender here, he can't see. He's peeking forward. He can't see what's going on. He doesn't know where he should be. This centre back here is pointing out. Who's picking this man up? Neither of them are at all. You've got the player coming in here. There's a lot of people focusing on what's happening here and not what's going on here.
But he gets
just run out.
Is this a lucky goal or a bad goalkeeping?
Well, we know Lima's
like
a serious player, isn't he? We know that for a start.
Have a look here. What do you think? I think it's slightly defective, but we get an angle in a minute. But is that goalkeeping? I think he got pulled out. What do you think? Was it there? Because he kind of went like that. To me, if you're going to stand on the post, no matter if it's deflected or not, you're not going to score.
You've got to stand on the post. I think what he's tried to do, and I think he's been aware of this player coming in here and not being picked up. So he's thinking, right, well, I'm trying to hedge my bets. I think he's going to play the ball across there, so I'm going to try and get out and get it because he's not marking him. And then, of course, all his weight to go this way, deflection, he can't get there. Whereas he's got to stay here on the post, and that's the defender's job.
So, give me a decision. I'm going to ask you, is it a lucky goal or is it bad goalkeeping?
Both.
Okay, but I think I'm sorry, Ian's a goalkeeper. My friend David Seaman, if he was here, I'm saying it's bad goalkeeping. I'm sorry. It's bad goalkeeping. Get on that post, let your defenders do your job, and it would have been. Anyway, let's move on. So, just pause it there, Ian. So, that was a vital goal. It was in the 46th minute, Ian. Calvert 3-1 up just before half time, so our Wassel are going to go into the break. They're going to drink that cup of tea thinking, we're back in this game. What do you think, Ian? That's the mentality I would have as a player.
3-1 up.
We can get back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Calvert came out with the mentality, let's protect our lead. We'll see here. So let's look at, remember it's a Lima show, 4 goals. This is the VAR. I mean, this is crazy. I'm sorry, look at this here. Number 23.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Extremely harsh. And I think
he's just heading the ball, he's doing this, and it hits his arm. I think the referee should have been there. I have no idea. Step up Lina.
But you can tell a lot from the players' reactions, can't you? As that ball's been crossed over and gone out, nobody's appealed for a penalty, everyone's just playing on, and then suddenly the referee stopped it, and then
VAR contacted
what's
him.
going on, and
it's almost just flicked off his arm like that.
It's not impacted anything, is it? The ball's going out, if anything, it's going off the play. It's not impacting anything.
There were no players behind him. It's a crazy decision. Step up Lima. I mean, what a lovely penalty.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Right, then this is the one I was going to talk about here, but let's move on. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. I mean, what do you think here? This number 23, he had I've got his name here. He had an absolute nightmare. Number 23, Fahad Sabir.
He's just had a complete brain fade, isn't he? You know, what are you doing? The ball's coming out of the box, it's not in any danger at all, and he's just come back straight to the back of it.
Yeah.
Silly
decision.
If I was in charge, if I was a manager, he wouldn't be playing for a very long time.
Fahad Sabir. If you watch our show, tell us what were you thinking? And then Lima. I mean, then you think, okay, a draw's a good result, Ian.
Yeah.
But then, if I can just pause it here, Ian, what I like about this, Ian always talks about the European style of playing. If you lose the ball in your own, in the opposition's half, if you get it back, you've got a chance to score a goal. And you know, I really like, Wanderson came on as a substitute. You got number 15. Lima, the man of the match, has the ball in his own half. He's dwelling on it too much. These guys pressure him. There's Wanderson. He wins the ball, and you can see what happens here. Lapa takes it in the 93rd minute. Mr. Calm, Cool and Collective. What a fantastic strike. 4-3 up in the 93rd minute. You can see there Wanderson, Mohamed Rashid win the ball off Al Wassel in their half, get it to Mpala and Lapa. What a beautiful goal here.
Like you're saying there, the idea isn't it when you're pressing hard, as soon as the opposition gets the ball, ideally 2 or 3 seconds you want to be on that and get that ball back, and they did, and then you play a lovely ball, open his body up, what a finish.
I'm thinking, finally, Calvert, you've won at Al Wassel, what a fantastic win. Not finished yet, play on again. You've got to watch this. Tell me what happened here. Is that just bad defending? Is it lucky for Al Wassel that he went to the play? I mean,
let's watch again. You know,
there's
lots of players all in there. I think he's prized more wounded more than anything else.
I mean, it was a soft header, and then number 25. He come off him, and it just felt.
Could have gone anywhere, couldn't it? Could have come off him, gone into safety. Unfortunately, it's come off him.
I think it's a lucky goal.
Very, I think he could try and do a little bit better, but it's one of those things, and I think.
It was 2 points lost for Calvert.
Yeah.
2 points lost, and I think Al Wassel, they had this, we're never going to lose, we're going to fight to the end, and they did. They had the better possession, but I thought Calvert were brilliant.
Yeah, and what a game for the neutrals. Great game for the neutrals.
Fantastic game. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. All right, let's move on to our next game, Ian. All right, Ian, let's go to the game of the week. I mean, this game was pushed all week.
It's the
top of the table clash.
Second versus third, isn't it? Like we said before, Al Jazeera sitting in second, joint points. I think on 37 with
better goal difference.
Better goal difference. Banyas looking very, very good. I think they have about 33 points. Big game for both the teams. If Banyas can win this, that puts them right in the mix. If Al Jazeera can win it, because obviously you know what happened to Sharjah. Sharjah are under a hell of a lot of pressure.
It was a big game.
And it didn't disappoint.
No, tell us what happened here.
Well, we've got some serious players, haven't we? We've got Ali Maktoum, the man at the moment, and obviously we've got for Banyas, Michel Pedro, and a few of the other boys. So very interesting. So we've got Al Jazeera, just to double check. Al Jazeera playing in white, Banyas in their change strip of black. So here we go. Well,
I mean, what happened there? This is a new signing guy that's been brought in. It is a new signing for Al Jazeera.
A wonderful finish, but how easy is it? He's just gone through number 42, and I think if we have a replay here, it's embarrassing. It's a lovely finish. It's a great finish, to be fair to him, but
I mean,
he's just literally walked straight through them. Nothing. And again, they're the wrong side. So if they do try and make a tackle, it's probably going to go down and be a penalty. If the positioning is wrong in the first place, it's poor, very, very poor, and you don't expect that
from Banyas, not this season.
But like you said, what a great finish! Really was good.
Yeah, he took it well.
It's giving the goalkeeper no chance. So it was a great finish.
Big boy, he's a big boy. I watched him. He's a good, strong player. He's already scored a couple of goals.
Yeah, he looks good. Signing. So we know from the start. I think Ali Maktoum scored 2 hat-tricks in a row. So if you're going to mark anybody, he's the man you mark.
Ali Maktoum, he's on fire.
Unless you're Banyas, of course. So Banyas set up across here and looked really, really good. They got 3. to be honest, 42 again, I'm still not happy with. You know, what is he doing here? We've got marking free, which he should be, and we've got this player here. He's got to be tucked in here and marking here. And then obviously, Ali Maktoum is on the ball here. Watch what he does. His movement's good, it's nothing special, but it's enough. He's got the ball, dinks it in, off he goes, and it's a lovely finish. But that fallback just didn't go with him.
No.
And you can't do
You can
that.
see him there, you can see in his face, he knows.
There he is, number 23. He's just watching. He's got to be doing everything he can.
This is a world-class player, you could almost say, the way he's playing at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I said at the start, if you're going to mark anybody, you mark him.
And it was just a simple play, well, 1-2.
Like I said, his movement was good, but it was nothing special. I would have
So
done a bit better than that, but yeah, 2-0.
I'm thinking game over, yeah.
Exactly.
Banyas, what's happening?
Again, set up, they look really, really good. No problem, nice little interchange, and then clumsy tackle.
There's Pedro.
Here he goes.
Fantastic.
And a lovely strike.
It was just a good goal, that.
Yeah.
You're getting undefendable almost. And that is a man on fire.
And I think it just shows it, doesn't it? You know, his strength, his speed, his confidence.
But what about the goalkeeper? I thought he got his angles wrong there.
Possibly, you know, hit it across.
It wasn't right in the top.
Because he's had to move across to follow the run. So as the run's coming across, he's moving across.
That little bit
and then
space.
he could be just again his body weight is in the wrong position. But you know,
I noticed that, you know,
João
not being a
Pedro's
goalkeeper.
a good player.
So he brought him back into the game.
Back into the game, 2-1, and again too easy. He's just come through there, lovely little reverse ball, and wow, what a finish!
Well done, yeah. That was mystical, yeah, under pressure.
You can see that again. These two, 9 and 12, non-existent for me. They're not doing anything again. It was a lovely little reverse ball.
One little ball took him out of the game.
And then a superb run, and you know he's put the keeper down. He's waiting, and it's just dinked him over. Brilliant. So 2-2, 50 minutes gone, and then Banyas looked absolutely on fire. Okay. Lovely little interchange. A little bit lucky, but who's running? Look, here, still here. Number 10, still nothing. 11 is doing nothing. Very lucky, unlucky.
Jimenez again.
You
It
know,
was completely free.
but it's embarrassing, isn't it? If we pause it here.
Al Jazeera fans, what's going on here?
You know, we're not. Again, he's got too much room. This guy here has got to be here to block that first ball. This centre back's got to be in here. Okay. This guy, well, it's embarrassing. Again, he's not watching the games. He doesn't even know the guys here.
Look at the spaces, guys.
But again, you've got to be. The keeper's got to be seeing. Someone's got to be screaming at him here and telling him, "Mark, man, mark, man, mark." And it's not as if now the ball goes straight to him and he scores. We've still got a bit of interplay before that. So we've still got opportunity to score. To get that.
I mean, look,
Keeper saved it. He's still 11. Still look, and even then he had the cheek to look around and you know, whose responsibility is that? So 3-2 Banyas, and fully deserved at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, second half, almost a game of two halves here.
Yeah, you know, and that is.
But Al Jazeera had 2 goals disallowed for offside.
Two, and here's one. Look how tight that is.
Come on.
Yeah, that is unlucky. It's a superb header. It's a great save. But yeah, very.
On a different day, and
yeah.
And this is another one, yeah?
Yeah, another one again. Again, very, very tight.
But it took him a couple of goals, he'd go behind to pick this up, and that's what I don't understand with Al Jazeera.
Yeah, very, very unlucky. And I think they get the bit between the teeth now. And if we see this again from the other angle, it's, well, ridiculous.
Is it a penalty in?
Yeah, 45. Yeah.
How are you doing?
You know,
I mean, totally took him out, sandwiched him almost.
It's nice to see that he's making the effort to try and get back, put pressure, because we've had a moan already about defenders not doing anything. But he's coming from completely behind him. 15, his angles are all wrong, but at least he's there.
Covered him. He's got it.
We've got it nearly covered. So he just comes in and clatters it, and well, what happens next you wouldn't even imagine would happen.
No.
You don't expect that.
No, you don't. Ali Maktoum.
And
but we've got to give him a break. What, 7 goals in 3 games?
7 goals in 3 games, but
a missed penalty.
You know, 3-2 down, 92 minutes gone. You think maybe now that's it. Banyas have got the points they need. Suddenly they've got pressure on
Al Jazeera. Over. Well done, Banyas.
But more Fergie time, more Al Wassel time, Al Jazeera time, goal time. Yeah.
Imo Ezekiel, great player, signed him this season, halfway through the season. What a lovely goal.
Just look, they never give up. And that is almost an undefended delivery. You know, it's absolutely brilliant. You know, you can't fault the positioning. They're well set up. It's just the crossing is just immaculate. You can't do anything about it. And the finish,
well done.
Brilliant.
That's what they brought him in to do. This young Nigerian player looks very good. Got one international cap. Very good player. What a cracking game as well, Ian.
Hugely entertaining. Lots of action. You know, lots of great goals. All defending.
But I've missing a penalty.
But I think most managers will be pleased with the point because it could have gone either way. But I think also be very, very disappointed with the defending because we've highlighted two or three huge errors from both teams there. And if they're going to win the league, they need to sort that out.
All right, thanks a lot, Ian. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, Ian, let's move on to our next game. Alain versus Fajira. And if you remember, I think you sent it on the WhatsApp group, Fajira manager left Goran.
Yeah, a shame really, wasn't it? You know, he moved from Corsican to Fajira and it just hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, but it's just a couple of bad games and off he goes. And we were saying earlier, if you keep faith in your manager, it pays off in the end. And it's been proven, you know, in the Premier League, they haven't sacked as many managers.
Right.
They've kind of hung on with them and it's paid off. And
it's something that's quite relevant or prevalent in this league that the managers don't seem to stay around particularly long. They only have a sort of season or 2 seasons sort of shelf life, and they moved on very quickly, which I think is wrong because you can't build a team around your ethos in that time.
It's difficult to
but
do.
We appreciate that you need results. You've got to win.
It's a result-based business.
But I think that a little bit harsh. You know, they were playing some. Well, we saw playing some good football, but defensive errors or some little errors that were making mistakes.
A couple of bad results and off they go. And to be honest, the new manager is called Nassif Bayawi, Tunisian manager. He's manager in Saudi Arabia, but to me it was a little bit of a baptism of fire. Alain away first game.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have waited. Poor guy. He's got a game. They've got a game at home against Calba, which is winnable, and it's a game he could prove himself. I thought it would have been maybe a little bit wiser to bring him in on that game because Alain are playing well. They're on a run. And a win would put them into 4th position. And disappointingly for Fajira, it was a win. But watching the game, Ian, Fajira had 2 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, Abdullah, and he missed. And then Khalil, the captain, Khalil Khamis, he had a 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and hit it straight at the goalkeeper. So they had chances to do the business. But Alain, good solid team, bringing the youth through. They did the business. They had better possession and they won the game comfortably in the end. And the goal by Christian Samuel was more of a consolation goal. Get a little bit of pride back, but it was a comfortable win. And I don't really want to say much more about it. You can see the game, but Alain against Fajira, there was no real big decisions, but it was a tough game for the new manager to be brought in. And again, my player for Fajira is Ben Labi, the Tunisian. He's playing some great football and he set up the first real chance for Abdullah. Yes. Abdullah, and I don't know what happened there. Too many touches and ends up shooting wide. He should have done better. And then Khalil, he was on his own. He just had the goalkeeper to beat and hits it straight at the goalkeeper. I think that's harder to do, if anything.
Yeah. But it's happened a lot. But yeah.
I tell you, the best goal to watch was Laba. The other goals were he lost the ball, and what he did, what I liked about him, it was the three of them. It was Kyle, Balushi, and Laba, and they were playing together. Laba lost the ball, but he fought for it back. Fajiro, I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to play in a dangerous play, and he won the ball back, crossed it in for Kyle to get his second goal. But I'm just going to finish off with Kyle's first goal. Ian, to me, it's my goal of the week. It's the goal of the month. He's got a good chance to win the goal of the season. Watch it. He receives the ball. He takes out 3 players for Fajira. Schoolboy defending him. He goes past one, goes past another, and the last defender puts this in, half-hearted challenge, and he puts it in the back, and a fantastic goal. Watch it, you really enjoy it.
I think the last defender knew exactly what was coming, just knew I can't do anything about this, and just sort of gave up.
Yeah, he did. Watch it, wonderful goal. 3-1 to Ali, up in 4th position, back where they should be. A good game to watch, but a difficult game for the new manager. Let's see what they can do again this week against at home to Calvert. All right, Ian, let's move on to the next game. Who you got?
Hatta versus Shabab. So Hatta again, seen signs of improvement every week. When I watched
Well, they got the first win, didn't they?
They did last week. It's a fantastic win against Ashman. I think it was 3-0.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant result. But they seem to be they do getting better. There is progression all the way.
We're saying that, but they are playing better.
Yeah.
They look fitter and stronger.
They were fluent. They're creative. They create chances. They actually dominated the last periods of the game, but just didn't again have that quite cutting edge, the quality which Shabab have. And obviously Shabab ran out winners 2-1 in the end.
But it could have gone either way. I mean,
it could have done if they had taken the opportunities. Yeah, it would have been a lot closer. It was that wonder goal by Bresarara. Absolutely just drilled it. The ball just stayed here. Yeah. No one was ever.
It needed something special. It was a
fantastic goal. And then
he got again another assist. Even though he's not scored, he can still.
But he's
19-year-old.
He looks
quality.
Very, very good. In that team, he's their linchpin, isn't he? Everything goes through here. And like I said, he's not scoring the goals, but he's putting assists in, which is really, really good. And then the goals were a bit. Defending was a little bit sloppy by Hatta. And then Habib just had a bit of a meltdown. I think it was going with sort of 10 minutes left. Just an absolute ridiculous challenge, straight red. And then suddenly you're playing against 10 men.
You can't do that.
You're really up against it, and that ultimately cost them a point really. And he should be very, very disappointed in himself really. Yeah, but signs of improvement definitely from Hatta.
And I got the first win the other week. Hopefully it's a springboard.
Mohamed Juma and Igor look really, really good for Shabab, and they're certainly moving in the right direction. It looks good for them. Hatta, we said before, it's too little too late, but it's encouraging signs for next season.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the coaches from Hatta yesterday, and he was saying that it is a little bit too late. They've kind of accepted they're going to go down, but they're preparing for next season, and they do look a lot better. And they're happy with the coach, his way of coaching, and they're going to keep him, which will be good. Yeah. They need that. Hatta. Yeah, hopefully they'll spring straight back up when they go down. Yeah. Which they've kind of all accepted. All right, let's move on to our next game, Ian. We game I commentated on. Ajman at home against Al Nassr. It was interesting. This was a team who can't defend and a team who can't score. Al Nassr at the moment. I mean, they brought in Taglabo, but he's just not scoring the goals. I mean, for Al Wahda, he's been fantastic, but he's just not doing the business. Maybe his age, 35 years old. So it was an interesting situation or scenario coming into this game, but it went how it should, how the script. I mean, Ajman lost against Hatta 3-0, and so coming into this game, Al Nassr did the business. They won 3-0. I watched the game. The first game was a bit of luck for the Israeli. Saba, he hit the ball, it deflected off Rakan, who'd been brought in for the other defender who was injured, and it went off his knee. It was a tame shot. It was nothing, the first goal. But it needed it, and it kind of woke Al Nassr up. Ajman, the heads went down, and they didn't really do much after that. And Al Nassr, they did the business. And they got back into their winning ways. They got back up to in the top 4, and maybe they can. Maybe a little bit too late. I don't know what you think, Ian. What do you think about Ajman? Do you think? Well, they got on a good run,
didn't they? And then obviously losing to Hatta last week is huge, and then obviously again to Al Nassr. It's tough. You're always going to have those sort of dips, aren't you? Because they're down the bottom for a reason. They have got some good players, and sometimes they can get a good result.
They have the worst defence. 26 goals have conceded this season.
But there doesn't seem to be any signs of change. No. Surely as a coach or a manager, that's where you look at the issue. You can't say, well, we're going to score more goals than the opposition and just keep pile out and pile in, because that's just not realistic.
Because up front they've got some really good attackers. We were saying Trawali, Bonka from a long play. They brought in the former player Maiga, looked good. Diego Jardel looks good. they brought in some new players. It's just that defence here because they had chances. They just didn't put them away.
No.
And it's not a lot to write home about, to be honest. But the man of the match was the Israeli that's been brought in for Al Nassr.
Yeah.
He did the business for him and got him back in the game. But watch the game. It's okay. But I don't know. Iceman is struggling again.
I think it's important to note that when we're saying the defence is the issue, we're not just blaming the back four or the back five of the goalkeeper. It's the defence as a whole unit, as an 11. They've got to defend better from the front. You cannot let the back four or the back five of the goalkeeper have to deal with these situations all the time. It's because the front three aren't getting position, the midfield aren't tracking back, so there's a big overload. So when we're saying about defence, it's the whole team.
I agree. Anyway, less said about that. I still predict Iceman will go down. But anyway, let's move on to our next game, Ian.
Last one, Al-Wadda versus Corsican.
Al-Wadda, they seem to be doing a little bit better.
They look good, 3-0, they deserve it.
Corsican have been playing well as well, when you think about it.
Yeah, but they're getting pulled into that relegation battle. They're very, very close to it now. Al-Wadda, as we mentioned, are very inconsistent. You don't know what team's going to turn up, and that's, again, reflection where they are on the league table. Corsican gave away 2 unbelievably solid penalties. There's just absolutely no need for them at all. And you can't give the penalties away to anybody, but they're just ridiculous. So suddenly you've conceded 2 penalties, and then an absolute wonder strike from Al Saba, and it's 3-0, and there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing because, like we mentioned before, they've got some really good players called Corsican.
And they've been playing
Bruno
really well.
Lamas is a superb player.
He's on fire.
Really, really
Should have
good.
scored.
But you can't give away 2 penalties, and they were stupid penalties.
And there were no VI needed really, but there was straight penalties.
And if that ends up, if they lose the FOD next week as well and get drawn into the relegation battle, you've got to pinpoint key moments, and that could be a key moment.
They need to start getting back to the winning ways. And Al-Wadda, they're winning or losing or winning. They're not really losing, they're winning or drawing. Winning or drawing.
They're a team that just sort of go under the radar, don't they? They're not going to trouble anybody. They'll quite happily stay sort of lower mid-table of the league. That'll be them done.
Yeah, I think they're preparing more for next season. Well, that's our analysis. But we're finally going to finish off with predictions for this week. The games start today, 5:30. I'll be at Fujairah versus Calvarian. So can we give some quick predictions, Ian? I've got the league here, and they're on your screen now. You can see coming up the games that are happening today. Starting from today, we've got 5:30, Fujairah versus Calva. Fujairah, new manager, Nassif Bayawi. Our cameraman will tell me if I'm wrong with that pronunciation. He's putting his arms out. I've got it totally wrong, guys. Help me out, okay? So, what do you think? Fujairah versus Calva. Calva, I mean, they should...
Well, East Coast battle, I think Calva will be...
It's a local derby, really, isn't it? I mean, they're literally miles away, just a few miles away.
Yeah, stone's throw, aren't they? It's been interesting one, won't it? Calva will be disappointed from last week's game. Fujairah again need points.
It's a difficult one to call.
I'll sit on the fence. Draw.
I'm going to go for a draw with you, Ian. I should go against him, but I'm going to go with Ian. Right, Ian. Al Dhafra versus another local derby, a big game. Al Dhafra, goodness me, Al Dhafra fans. Tell us what's happening. Al Dhafra at home, but it's a local derby, and we know they're different local derbies.
Yeah, we're back in the capital, aren't we? So, Al Ain are looking good, aren't they, at the moment? They just seem to have just turned it around, like I was saying, we're building for next season. They've got some really, really good young players, and they're just starting to gel. The more time they play together, the better they're going to get. They obviously beat Sharjah 2 weeks ago. They won last week.
Yeah.
They're looking good, so I would say an Al Ain win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an Al Ain win. I'm going to go for 2-0. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Al Wasl at home again, 8:15 against Al Wadda. North against South.
It could go either way, couldn't it?
Al Wadda on the day can play really, really well.
Yeah.
Al Wasl, I mean, a little bit
up and down, aren't they? I'm going draw.
Yeah. I've got friends at Al Wasl and watches this. Al Wasl to win. Okay? But really, I believe they're going to draw. Okay, then Friday's games. Al Nassr versus Hatta, Ian, 5:30 on Friday. Who do you think's going to win? Al Nassr got back to winning ways.
Yeah, Al Nassr, aren't they? You'll be a fool to go against Al Nassr. Like we said, Hatta are looking better. They're improving week by week, but it's a massive ask. You know, Hatta fans, if you disagree, let us know. But yeah, it's gonna be tough.
I love Hatta. I've got some good friends there, but I'm sorry. Al Nassr 3-0. Again, another 3-0. Okay, Banyas against Aizman. Banyas at home, looking fantastic. Got a good result. They should have won Al Jazeera. I mean, Al Jazeera on fire. What do you think here?
I think it could be a bit of a goal fest, to be honest. I think if Banyas get it right, get the ball down, get an early goal, I just worry for Aizman.
The floodgates
like because the defence is
the worst
isn't
defence.
balling. It's not getting any better. It could potentially be a cricket score, which means a lot of goals.
I'm going for another 3-0.
Yeah.
Joe Pedro to get 2 there. Okay, Shabab Al Ahly versus Kofa Khan.
Shabab looking good, aren't they? You know, the new manager's come in, he looks really good, he's got them well organised, they've got some really, really good players. Like we mentioned before, Eagles looking exceptional. Too much for Kofa Khan, again. Shabab 2-0.
2-0. I'm going to go with that again. The game of the week, guys. Sharjah at home to Al Jazeera. Top of the table clash. These two are on the same points, almost same everything. Ian, I'm not even going to predict. I'm going to leave that one to you. Sorry, I'm chickening out. Ian?
Well, I think as a neutral, it would be great if Al Jazeera won, because then we've got the head-to-heads are exactly the same. Going forward then, it'd be interesting to see what happens if they finish on the equal points at the end of the season, how they work out what goes on there. I've said Sharjah all season. You know, they went off like an absolute rocket, and I didn't think anyone could get near them. The last probably month, they just faltered a little bit, and Al Jazeera just looks stronger and stronger and stronger. Obviously, they had a bit of a falter against Banyas, but Banyas are a good team. There's no disappointment in that.
Give us a result, Ian. Come on,
listen to this. There will definitely be a result, and it will be. Pains me to say it. I think Al Jazeera are going to do it. I think they'll beat them. Wow. I think it'll be 2-1 Al Jazeera.
That's a Sharjah fan. Okay, I believe Al Jazeera win, but I'm not predicting. It's too tough. Okay. All right, we're just going to finish off. Our cameraman's going to put the goal of the week. Kyle, scoring that fantastic goal for Al Ain. Watch it. Let's finish off with that. What a great goal, Ian.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, ring the bell, do all this stuff, and make a comment would make us really happy. Thanks, Ian, for that.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks to our cameraman, Ahmed.
Masalama.
Masalama.